The third and final Nocturne raid is here, although the ship will continue to be useful in the Forsaken mission for a few weeks or months, rather, after this raid. I want to go through the 1205 target, the harder of the two, with my one Nocturne at E9 using the build shown. Don't worry, more discussion on both of those at the end of the video. What I want you to take away from this is the tactics that you can use against any particular ship or turret combination. I'm going to show you a few different things, including why ships in groups of 2 are generally easier, and why you're going to take some force damage from ships in groups of 1, play around with outranging particular turrets, and bouncing splash damage off turrets you can outrange, or turrets that do minimal damage to the high threat items in the target. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is engage these ships in a group of 2. You can outrange these guys, which is the good news, and you're also faster than them, so 2 good news items. Kind of ignore the red and green weapons in this target. Your actual scattergun that's built in tends to do, which for me is the darker firing colors here. It does depend a little bit on if you have some limited stuff or not. That's what does actual damage. 2 ships, pretty easy to take down in this target. Now for the turrets, what I want you to do is know that there's a few things you can outrange. And really just the important one is this halo turret right here. You might think a halo should be a long-range missile. It's not, it's a short-range one. You can outrange this guy. You cannot outrange the medium-range scatters. But because you have scatters, you can bounce splash damage off the first halo turret right here and kill both of these guys while not getting fired at whatsoever, because you're only getting close to that first turret. So this works with the halo and then the scatter behind it, and it also works with the halo and various missile turrets and such behind this one. More info on what these turrets and such are. Sometimes you get unlucky, and as you can see, this vulture looking turret right here is a missile turret that most things are going to miss and or be shot down, so that's some good news right there. Scatter turret right here, the thing to know about this one is that it sometimes shrouds and sometimes doesn't. And then there's the single ship right here, and again, single ships generally do damage to you. That one is not a big deal because it was a missile ship, which is missing a ton because I have all D5 EV armor. Again, more on the build at the end. And then I do have one MDS3. I only have one MDS3 because if you consult the salvo count there, the salvo count is 10, meaning you can fire at 10 incoming missiles before you have to reload. So that is quite powerful. Next turret cluster is going to be pretty interesting. I'm actually going to skip the one in the sort of center of the screen and get the one at the very top first. This is because I know this vulture missile right here, is only going to do a little bit of damage to me, and I can bounce some damage off onto the scattergun behind it without really needing to worry about the scattergun later. Now, let's see if we can do something really hard and outrange both the UAV, which we can't, so let's go ahead and commit. We can kill things while they only shoot at us once. So we had the missile turret right there, which was on the front position, and that shot at me, not too worried. But as soon as the UAV shot at me, I charged it and killed the whole platform quickly. That ended up taking a shot from the scattergun, which I'm not too worried about because I was moving, and as you can see, my damage bar is generally pretty low. But a few things could have done slightly better in that particular encounter. Okay, 2 ships coming towards me. Make sure that you don't get hit by these guys. If you're not quick enough, right there, you can see he did shoot at me in the background. Okay, there's a short-range halo going to hit this one. There's a medium-range missile behind it. Not to worry about that one because, again, it's only a medium-range missile. Pay attention here to the ship. I want to go and swing around against this one. Remember, ships in 1s are going to do some damage to you, and this damage is pretty high from some UAVs right here. Let's also get the solo UAV turret. Unfortunately, there's no way around this one. You just have to take 1 hit's worth and hope that your countermeasures shoot at everything at least once. Top turret cluster right here is going to, I wish I could go around this thing, but I can't. So I'm going to take some damage from the scatter, and maybe the missile in the background is going to shoot at me once or twice, but I'm more worried about the scatter, making sure it only shoots once, than I am about that missile. Taking a look at this group of 3, we're going to go past it and engage the ship first. Again, ship of 1 is going to do some damage to you, and this is a missile ship of some kind, but as you can see, he's mostly missing or getting shot down. Now, what I want to do with the next 2 turret platforms is only have the missile shoot at me, rather than have the, and let's see if I can get some, rather than have the scatter shoot at me. Now, what I want this to do is I want to try and kill the UAV before he shoots at me. Unfortunately, I didn't quite do that, and he's going to get... He did not get a second shot off at me. So both of these platforms have a single corrosive turret left, which unfortunately does mean 1 or 2 corrosive shots are going to hit me. So there's one, turn around before the ships get to me, and then start moving away from them. He shot at me, but again, relatively low damage, and it is some corrosive type damage. It will be interesting on the battle report. Generally, the higher corrosive damage you got means the worse you drove the target, because basically all of the guaranteed damage is from missiles of some sort. So again, this missile right here is going to go down, and we do have the shrouding, unshrouding turret. I'm going to wait till he unshrouds and then see if I can't do some splash damage from him onto the 2 of them. Didn't quite get that one. Okay, last few turrets left. We have a UAV turret. I don't even think that if I come in on the side here, I can get this guy. Maybe if I had gotten him first from the very bottom, I could have splashed some damage off onto this one, but it's a little bit too late for that now, so we're just going to, again, hope that we can reduce the shots and take as little as possible, stay moving on the corrosive, and come back to finish out the missile turret, which, again, usually misses. There's the technique for the 1205 target. Let's go ahead and take a look at the damage, the battle report, and the build. I'm hoping I can get close to 30 minutes of repair on this one. Let's see what this one was. Corrosive damage, summing the resisted and taken, is 7%. Summing the resisted and taken for penetrative is 37%, which means that if I was putting on armor today, I would put on more penetrative, assuming I didn't use all D5 EV armor, which I did. And it also indicates I drove relatively well because I avoided most of the corrosive damage. The guaranteed damage is generally penetrative. Taking a look at the repair time, this is 24 minutes of repair, which is generally pretty good. Your ship has about a 6-hour total repair time, so I could stack up 12 of these things before needing to log off and repair overnight at work, whatever. Taking a look at the build, I do want to make sure you can see the whole thing here. This is an E9 Nocturne, and it is not up to E10 because I don't have enough kits, or I suppose I should say fragments or shards, whatever it is, to get this guy up to E10 yet. I'm hoping I can redeem enough in the raid. I know there were some in the Forsaken mission. I sometimes did or did not get all of them in particular weeks leading up to this one, so aware of that. Now, I even have some regular unlimited weapons on this ship, as well as a few commons, uncommons, a few epics, no legendaries. This just goes to show you, you don't need to have all the legendary stuff to get a low repair time. The general technique, which is what I want you to take away from these videos, is far more important than having all legendary weapons, armors, whatever. I chose all D5 EV armor because I wanted to have more combat speed and more evade, and generally find this to be more fun. Now, the negative with D5 EV armor is that it does add some repair time, so that's something to consider. Let's go ahead and recall back to base so we can look at the crews that I'm using, or the officers, I should say. The negative with D5 EV is it adds repair time, but I generally find that trade-off worth it, because it also means you don't need to go get the armor slots, which means fewer point spends in strike. So that's a win in my book, is needing to get fewer points in these events, and using stuff you already have can be useful for dreadnoughts. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the officers I'm using. The captain, I unfortunately do not have the legendary 1-4. I could open each chest and spend 4 million each and try and get this one, which I probably will do, or until I get 3 of the tier 2 ones, which can be merged using the factory into the gold one. This guy is obviously the best one. I would use a 2-star captain over a gold crew. And then in terms of the other crews, I have the survival officer. The 150k survival has diminishing returns, especially when I have 1.8 million on here already. It is helpful, but it's not as helpful as you might think. Looking at that huge number, 150k, you can do the math on this one, but it's more like a 10 to 15% difference in the damage taken, rather than what Kixeye says 150k is based on the hull constant or tier constant. And then I went with the evade turn speed officer over something like the damage officer. I already kill things very, very quickly in this target, so I don't feel like I need to do more damage to this one. And then I do have a collection of specials, which is generally up to date. I think there's one escalation special I missed out on, but the important things to have on here is to have the, Odyssey decoy system, which is for my multi-shot. I mean, everything here works well together, but this is really important for the anti-missile range and accuracy for my single MDS-3, which again fires at every incoming projectile, so I'm not worried about trying to add a second one. It would do absolutely nothing other than reduce the damage I was doing. So there's the build on the Nocturne. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. With that said, I wanted to give a huge thank you to the channel members whose names appear on the end screen now. They're helping make videos like this one, coming out the second day of the raid, possible. With that said, and until next time, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.